Hello, Saints. Last time we talked about walking in the Spirit, which is what Paul's letter was really about, trying to redirect them back to what he had originally taught them. We're there in chapter 5, beginning in verse 7 to 12. We're going to look at those verses. He tells them, he reminds them after he talks about walking in the Spirit and not going through the Jewish system, and that if you're going back to the Old Covenant, you got to keep the whole law. And we know we're not doing well at that, even if you try. But it's faith in Christ. And so he carries on with the story, picking up in verse 7. He says to them, you were running well. They were doing it. They were running well with the faith, with the promise of Jesus in their hearts. He's brokenhearted about this. He's not just mad at them. He talks about, should I come to you with a stick, He's not happy. He's really sad. So he says, you were running well. Who hindered you? He says, from obeying the truth of the gospel, the truth of faith. Not that we have to come up to some standard in order for God to say, I accept you. He meets us where we are in our life. He meets us there. Okay, he doesn't keep us there, but that's where he's at, right there. And that's how we have to treat people when they come into the church. They're not as far advanced as you. Meet them where they are. And don't judge them. Not when you know they're trying to pour their heart out to God and want to do the right thing. Now, if they want to make it an excuse for doing sin, all right, call it what it is. But we have to be careful about how we judge people coming into the church. We think they have to be formed perfectly, just the way we are, which of course is unperfect. So this persuasion, he says, did not come from him who calls you. So they were trying to teach them, the Judaizers, he says, didn't come from God, the one who called them. Well, Paul was the operator, but the message is from God. He says, a little leaven leavens a whole lump of dough. He says, I have confidence in you, in the Lord, that you will adopt no other view, but the one who is disturbing you will bear his judgment, whoever he is. Don't let somebody steal your joy. They'll have to answer to God. He says, but I, brethren, if I still preach circumcision, why am I still persecuted? Then the stumbling block of the cross has been abolished. I wish that those who were troubling you would even mutilate themselves. This is an inclination towards circumcision, that they would actually cut it all off, mutilate themselves. He's driving home a point very hard about what they're trying to show through works that he's trying to show through faith. So the way to Christ, the way to the cross, isn't through the Jewish system, the temple rituals, etc., but through faith in Christ and him, the person, and the work he did on Calvary. That's it. Don't stumble with the cross and go back to works. Don't let it become the stumbling stone that it had become to the nation of Israel and to the Jews. Believe in Christ and trust him. That's what we're called to do. Blessings.